Chatty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. See ya!
Hey, welcome to Wrasslin with them Wrestling Boys. I'm the POT alongside my tag team partner, Big E. We're here to bring you another episode of premium wrestling content. What's going on, bro?
Oh, brother, it's just a stogie Sunday. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling great. I'm on
You
cloud nine.
had a pretty eventful weekend. You want to talk about it for a minute before we get started?
Yes, sir. My son, Mr. Noah Adkins, my only child, 18 years old, just graduated from high school, Campbell High School, from the IB program, graduated with honors. And it was just a very eventful moment. Graduated Friday night, Saturday night, they had a little gathering at the house, little graduation party with some close friends. Family came by to that. Also, I shout out one more graduate, Mary Grace Weeks. That is Daniel Benton's niece, his brother Justin Weeks, his daughter.
Okay.
She graduated from North Paulding, so congratulations, Mary Grace. And today went over, they had another graduation party at Justin's house. So very
Nice.
eventful. She graduated on Wednesday night though from North Paulding. So
Right.
congratulations to both of them and all the graduates, whether it's high school, college. It's a big deal. Don't want to take that for granted. We all been there, most of us,
Oh, yeah.
one time or another, and they had no idea that this is about to get real. And
It's all business now.
it's all business, and and you just hope and pray that they gonna make their mistakes and everything. That's part of life, but you just hope and pray that they go on the right trajectory. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that graduated 5th grade, 8th grade.
For real.
Well, you get a graduation for everything now, boy.
I know. Put
Yeah.
a cap and gown on you quick.
Right. We graduated kindergarten and graduated high school. That was it.
Right.
We go graduate 1st grade, pre-K, kindergarten, 5th grade, 8th grade,
The P
10th
class,
grade. Special ed.
Hey.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself play out. But yeah, man, shout out to Noah and Mary Grace, man. Proud of you guys. Yeah, man. World's at your fingertips. It's all about making smart and good decisions, and it'll take you a long way.
Absolutely.
So and that's big time, man. Evan Jr. will be going into 10th grade next year. It's moving by so fast. You know what I'm saying?
So fast.
Bro, you don't know, man. They go to college and they meet that one, and we come home and talking about dad this, dad, I done found this one, and and it's just on the road to marriage and kids and careers and
speaking of that, you reminded me of, as far as I know we talked about them graduating, but I have to bring up Noah again. He's going to Oglethorpe University for film production.
That's awesome.
So he's very passionate about that. Drama club and filming and acting.
Yeah.
He's passionate about it. So I told him, hey, if you really have a dream, the time is now to go at it, because when life happens,
and it'll never be work if you're doing something you love. So
right.
Man, hopefully he can do, and they learn from our mistakes, and the
Right,
things that we didn't finish doing or, not finishing college and having this set career for the rest of your life and all that, man. So,
right.
yeah, man, shout out to them, man. Like I say, world's at their fingertips. Living on the end of a lightning bolt. If
If
you,
you will.
but yeah, man, that's awesome, man. So congratulations to them. But this is welcome to wrestling. So let's get away from the personal stuff and head into the topic for the night.
Right.
We're gonna review Saturday night's main event. This is episode 22. Emmett
Deuce,
Smith.
deuce. Deuce, deuce.
Yeah, this is Emmett Smith. So yeah, man. Banging them out every week and happy to do it and loving it. Um, let's just get into Saturday night's main event. Love like how they're doing these every couple of months.
Right.
And I know we talked about since we've been covering this show, I think this might be the third one or the second, not the second, but the third Saturday night's main event we made a cover.
Yeah, I
Or
think
is it
it's
the
third.
second?
No,
Okay.
definitely not second. I think it's third.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. So yeah, man. So this is the third one. They've continued with you don't want to call them secondary titles, because like the women's US title was on the line. Of course, the world title was on the line. The John Cena was a non-title match. So and still, you had WrestleMania, you had Saturday night. No, not a lot of the tag team titles in the picture. So I don't know if it's I don't know what that's all about as far as the tag team division. I'm thinking they
Well,
need a couple of more players in
I mean, you talking about far to big events
yeah,
because SmackDown like they just defended the titles.
yeah, on TV.
Now,
Yeah,
right now on Raw. Well, I guess the New Day they have some stuff coming up with. Matter of fact, they gonna do a triple threat on Raw.
okay, okay.
Yeah, they
Well,
going
like I
against
say, that just shows you
yeah.
they're doing those just on regular TV. So
Right, right. Well,
you know
but
what I mean?
but these Saturday night main events and stuff, they be having 5 and 6 matches though, so
Yeah,
they ain't
yeah,
messing around.
yeah. But it kind of makes you think about Clash of the Champions
Right.
and stuff like that. But Clash of the Champions, all the titles will be on the line. But you
Well,
might
it
have all
started
the
out
titles
that
on.
way.
Yeah,
It
but
started out
you
that
might
way, but they kind of
you
really
might have the world champ there, but he might be in a tag team match or something like that.
but
So yeah, it is what it is. Might be just looking a little too deep for nothing. But that's what we're here for. But anyway, Saturday night's main event, they had the old logo on the turnbuckles with well, not the old logo, but the surprise old logo with just the W.
right,
And
right.
you had your boy Jesse the Body there.
Love it.
The funny thing about Jesse, when they were talking about Logan Paul and Jey Uso, he was like, "Is Tyson here to take another fall?"
Yeah, yeah. He be saying some slick stuff though.
Right. And then just started smiling. You know what I
Right,
mean? So,
right.
it is what it is. I thought it was, if anybody that's watched Tyson do what he's done in his training and stuff, you knew he wasn't all the way bought in. I knew when he fought Roy Jones a couple of years ago and was ready to quit and was almost emotional because he was scared he was gonna hurt him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mike's
He's a
he
different
be
dude, man.
medicated, man. He
Yeah,
gotta
different
yeah,
dude. Went from the
yeah,
most hated to the most loved. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
Well, he been
everybody hated Tyson. Well, one group didn't, but you had a lot of people that didn't like Tyson back in the day.
well,
And now everybody loves Tyson now.
right.
Yeah.
But like, and not to go deep off into it, but the whole Logan Paul and the Jake Paul that whole situation, uh, there's a lot of rumors and speculations about that whole fight,
Yeah.
but I saw some paperwork on Instagram shortly after that fight where they had like conditions where round for round, like if Mike would have knocked him out first round, he wouldn't have got paid. And then like the second round, he would have got a fraction of the money. Like it was set up where you got all your money if we went the distance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which I mean, some people believe that. I saw it. I don't know if it was legit. Anybody could have made that, but it kind of
Especially
makes sense though.
this
You
day and
know,
age, you can make
yeah,
anything.
right.
But
I
I
kind of
do
believe that though.
I do see where you're coming from, because if you did watch that fight and paid attention, it was to me, it looked like a couple of times where he pulled back or didn't counter when he could have, or almost did and kind of pulled it back, you
Right,
know, and everybody was looking for Jake Paul to get knocked out. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right.
that was the part where everybody was upset about, because
Now,
anybody can do is going to be Tyson.
now
Yeah.
I do believe that. I mean, even though we see the training footage and stuff, he still got it. But I mean, he's still not young either. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure fatigue was real.
Yeah.
But to your point though, it still looked kind of like he was, especially in the early rounds. He probably could have took him out them early rounds, but like I said,
Yeah.
according to the contract I saw, first round he wouldn't have got paid. Second round was like each round he would got more money, and it kind of makes sense.
Right. Right. So because you don't want, Jake Paul is supposed to be doing all this where he's, you don't want him to, if he gets knocked out first round, there's no more celebrity
Yeah,
fights.
he the cash guy. He
Yeah, it loses its prestige,
right,
So,
right,
but anyway, we already we've already got off topic. There's twice.
way off. Welcome
But
to wrestling.
right, it's welcome to wrestling. Hey, but yeah, Saturday night's main event. So you had Jesse the Body. They were in Tampa, which is I think half of the roster probably lives in Tampa.
Right.
That's like the threshold of the wrestlers. Like if you was a super duper mark and you want to be around wrestlers, then go move to Tampa. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Which is Tampa is what Atlanta used to be.
I was just about to say that. There you go.
Yeah, is what Atlanta used to be. But we start off the night with a tag team match with Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins and Braun Breaker against CM Punk and Sami Zayn. So, and of course, you had the wise man with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. So I thought listen, all the you had a few. Most of the matches were good. Started off good, a lot of good storytelling. As far as like their match, it was basically, CM Punk and Sami Zayn come in, take over at the beginning, then it, kind of flip here and there. And then out of nowhere, makes his
The big
return,
guy. The
Bronson
big guy.
Reed.
Big Bronson Reed.
Right. But a trimmer Bronson Reed.
Right.
Came in a little bit more shape. Had them black and gray Jordan 3s on. You know what I'm saying? Came out there, took CM Punk through the wall outside. Came in, took care of business, splashed on, and you got what to me is a new faction. I'm calling it the Rollins family till they call it something. I'm just calling it the Rollins family just so we can talk about it before they really call it something. But to me, it's more like a modern day evolution, is what it's starting to be. Because if you look at it, you got Seth Rollins, who's already a top guy like Triple H was, already multi-time champion.
Right.
And you don't have an active member like Flair, but you got a major veteran that everybody can learn from for Paul Heyman.
Right. Yeah, same thing. Except like you said,
Yeah,
Flair was still in the ring,
still,
but he
Flair
was
was still active. And
right.
then you got the two up and comers that are destined for nothing but greatness. Now, I'm
Absolutely.
not going to compare them guys to them, but I'm just saying they're following suit. That's what it looks like a modern day evolution.
Absolutely.
And you got Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Well, that's a dangerous, dangerous group. It's a dangerous group with just Bronson and Braun.
Right.
It's two
You,
major powerhouses.
there's two things I want to point out. You mentioned a name, you call them the Rollins family, and Michael Cole said something real slick. He even mentioned that they don't have no name yet. He
Yeah.
even mentioned it. Like so the name gonna be coming soon. But he
Mhm.
even mentioned it on air.
Okay.
Like, hey, we don't even know what to call these guys. So I thought
Yeah.
that was cool. But also another thing is I'm not comparing it to Solo and Jacob because we know what's gonna happen at the end of that story very soon. We know Jacob finally gonna have enough of Solo shit and move on, right? We know that's
Right.
gonna happen, the storytelling.
Right.
But in this situation, they did a similar thing, whereas when Bronson got in the ring, like Braun act like he didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
You saw? Did you peep that? He kind of looked
Yeah.
at himself like, "What the hell? Who's this guy?" Like, and Seth hugged, like let him know that yeah,
Yeah.
this is my guy. And
Right.
then it was like they kind of faced off. Then they shook hands.
Yeah.
Bronson and Braun Breaker. I just peeped that. I was like, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
but like you said, man, that's a hell of a
Yeah.
team right there,
Well,
man.
before we move on, I look at that as almost because they're heels.
Right,
So Seth is going to be a heel, and he doesn't have to tell everybody who he's bringing in or what he's doing.
right,
You
right,
know, but if you want to be a part of it, he's going to be a part of it too.
right. He's my
You
guy.
know, yeah. But
Y'all gonna have to.
I love the way, he was hyping Braun up before the match, getting in
Yeah,
his face, yelling at him and stuff, but not yelling at him, but pumping him up.
right.
I like the interaction. Seth is great anyway, man. He's so good anyway.
That's my guy. That's my
Yeah.
guy.
Especially in the ring, out of ring. Um,
Promos.
he got it going on.
Yeah,
He got it going on from every aspect of the business. And now he's in charge of his own faction. He's not part of one, he's in charge of one.
right,
He's the top guy. He's got the wise man. It's just like the bloodline stuff, and they're not related.
right,
You
right.
know what I mean? So, and I don't say just like it, but it just is it's starting to get that look like that's gonna be the
Similar
group.
concept though.
Yeah, and they're gonna be the
Yeah,
group to take over.
right.
And Vince was so quick to break people up all the time.
Right,
So this is a major faction that's being created without him. So
right,
I definitely like to see how far it goes. And do
right,
they add anybody else? Because you have four, but you really only have three.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you add one more person? Or do you keep it, just the three guys? You know what I mean?
For
But I mean,
for
I guess.
selfish reasons, I hope they keep it at 3.
Mhm.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, they may add a fourth, and we'd be like, hell yeah, we ain't see that coming. Obviously, we wouldn't see it coming, but
Right.
a fourth person, depending on that may be, it might be hell yeah,
Yeah.
great idea. I don't know, but
Yeah.
selfish reasons right now, I like the Braun and
Yeah.
Brunson, and
And that's who he was beefing with when he got hurt. Beefing
yeah,
with Seth Rollins.
and they pointed that out to Michael
Right.
Cole and was on it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what's
I'm
going on with
sure,
these guys?
right. I'm sure we'll get some kind of explanation of
Right.
why he joined him, why he brought him in. But
Absolutely.
he's got two certified ass kickers behind him and is going to be able to do whenever, whatever he wants. So and their heels. So
And
that's
they're
gonna,
here.
yeah. So I mean, it's very interesting. I'm hooked, line and sinker with it. I can't wait to see where it goes. Now it was one rumor that CM Punk got injured last night.
Mm.
So and they say it was from off the splash from Bronson Reed. So I don't know if it's true or not. We'll have to see. I'm not saying he's injured because I ain't gonna be on here lying and saying we know everything. We're not into rumor and innuendo.
Right.
Shout out to Bruce Pritchard. But again, just to wrap that match up, that is one dangerous group that is not going to be played with. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. So, and especially
Hey,
like I said, Vince was so quick to break stuff up. You know what I mean?
right.
I want to see how long this is going to last.
You know what? You before we move on, you mentioned it, the potential injury,
Mm,
and we know the whole kayfabe and everything. They try to blur the lines, and we just went through the whole Kevin Owens thing, which of
mm,
course that's a neck injury or
legitimate.
whatever. But
Yeah.
there's been times in the past where similar situation where, okay, I can see how this may be he's hurt and they
Mhm.
just giving him some time off to kind of make the impact of Bronson Reed coming back even more like
Right.
impactful. Oh,
Right.
he hurt Punk. He's gonna be out for until Saturday night's main event is gonna be in Atlanta in July. Which
Yeah.
I mean that's 2 months away. I don't know if they'll wait that long.
Right.
Hopefully he's not really injured, but I can see them like giving him a break because he's not a every week guy anyway. He kind of here and there. He got one of them part-time schedules. I mean, he be there,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. He
Right.
still ain't.
He's not working every time he's there. It's a run in,
Right,
tag match, something like that.
right, or might
You
cut
know,
a promo.
yeah, they're trying to keep the wear and tear down, I'm sure.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So let's move on. Let's go to Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green with the women's United States title.
Chelsea Green.
Thought she was hilarious about passing out the flags and stuff on the way out. Just funny the way she talks
She's a
and
trip.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you when you think of wrestling and comedy stuff nowadays, you automatically think about R-Truth, and we'll get into that in a little bit too. But there's never really been a lot of women that were comedic
Right.
as far as the storyline stuff. And she's hilarious. To me, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is.
So that's what makes me a fan of her. I'm a fan of Zelina for way different reasons. You know.
Hell yeah. Can't even front. Can't fake the funk on that one, boy. Ooh.
Right. Yeah, she's drop dead gorgeous. But the match was okay, you know. Um ever since listening to Chris Jericho, I don't like to say the botch word. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you know, it's one take.
Yeah.
Me and you can mess up on here, and as soon as we get done, I can go fix it on the computer and it was never there.
Right.
And they do the same thing when they re-show it, but that live crowd and that live camera catches it every time.
Right.
And then it's going to be all over YouTube and everything. So Zelina did mess the 619 up. Her leg, when she tried to go around, her leg got caught. The funny thing was, before we, not the fun. This is not funny when she still tried to get her foot around and end up kicking her in the nose. I don't know if she broke her nose, but she was bleeding like crazy from her nose. But she did do that cold red off the second rope, which was cool. And I thought they made up for it like that. If y'all don't know what the
Right.
cold red is, it's the shout out Petey Williams, man. And we'll shout out Petey Williams on here for the Canadian Destroyer. That was the first person I've ever seen do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah, that's what made me Petey Williams fan.
yeah, yeah,
He's my guy.
Big Petey Pump.
Yeah.
But you know, I gotta say that he's the first one we ever saw do that.
Hmm.
And a lot of people do it now. Both of the Lucha Bros do it. A
And
lot of people
it's
do
still
it.
amazing to me every time I see it.
Yeah. But she did it off the second rope. They nailed it. She
Right.
got the pinfall. Like I say, she did the 6-way. The funny thing was today on the memes, they were like, Zelina go paying homage to Tungaloa because he did the same thing and messed it up. So they were showing both of them when he tried to do a 619 and messed it up.
Yeah.
So she was like, she was paying homage.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, the match was, I'm not going to say it was a bad match. You know, it was a women's U.S. title match. You know what I mean?
I will say this, and it's not really commenting much on the match. You pretty much summed up that match. But I do like the fact that they finally have secondary women's championships though,
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
women division never been this deep with this
right.
much depth. And both TNA and AEW, like women's wrestling is came a long way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
WWE roster is ridiculous. And so I think it's cool that instead of having the world titles on each brand, you know, they finally got a secondary title where, you
Right.
know, so somebody like a Roxanne Perez or,
Mhm.
you know, hell, what's old girl name? We get her name wrong. Lila,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Lyra. Yeah.
Lyra,
Oh,
or hell,
girl.
Chelsea Green. Right, my bad. But Chelsea Green. I mean, I know she's not champion now, Zelina, but
Right.
she was the first. You know, like Chelsea Green. You know, she got rewarded for her work as because the fans interact with her. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So, but getting to your point, as far as the match, okay, you
Yeah.
know, but
They went out
it's
there
what
and
it
did that.
was.
Yeah, they did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, like I said, so they did their thing. Then we got John Cena and Ron Cena.
Ron Cena. Ron Cena. Uh, hey, nah, when he came out there with that gear on and the music.
Just paint the picture if you didn't see it. You got John Cena comes out,
Yeah.
you know, he's walking, you know, slow to the ring now, he's not running. He's
Right.
got his title on backwards. Anytime,
Right.
shout out to Rick Steiner. Anytime I see anybody wearing the title backwards, I automatically think of Rick Steiner.
Right. Right.
He did, but it was funny when he did it, you know, and you
Right.
know why he did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, man, shout out Steiner Brothers always. But come down there real slow, doesn't throw the flag, you know what I mean? Has his little towel, you know. Last time he's gonna be in Tampa, even though he lives there. But
Right.
right.
Yeah, right.
But uh, I love how they gave R-Truth a little shine. Even though,
Hmm.
you know, this guy's almost, I don't know how old he is. But they say he doesn't age. Everybody loves him. The crowd still loves him.
Right.
All these releases and stuff, there, there's, this guy should have a legend deal almost
Right.
at this age. I mean, seriously, he can still go, first of all. He can still go.
Right.
That's not even the issue. The issue is that he's a comedic genius when the cameras come on,
Right.
and everybody loves him. I just was, you know how you'll let YouTube play sometimes when something else will come on. You know, I was out here watching YouTube on something, went outside messing with the boys, came back in, and the R-Truth documentary was on. You know,
Okay.
and they talking about him and talking about the Royal Rumble when he came out and pulled the ladder out from under the ring, and he was just like he wasn't even in the Royal Rumble. You know, he went to Vince's office. He was like, "Hey, boss," he was like, "You think it'd be funny if I was in the Rumble and ran out there and pulled the ladder out and crawled up under it and looked for the briefcase and it's not there?"
Right.
He was like, "Oh, we're doing it." You know what I mean? Vince was like, "That would be funny." You
That's
know,
funny, pal.
right?
Do that,
So,
pal.
right. So, but you know, to give him a shine, let him get a match on Saturday night's main event. I want to say that him and John Cena are pretty cool with each other,
Right.
and that John Cena and his. I want to say John Cena made a list, and I want to say R-Truth is on that list of guys
Very
that he
possible.
wanted to work with before he called it quits.
Very
You
possible.
know, when they came, I want to say when they came together. This is what we want to do. This is the guys I want to work with. If such and such is available, you know, whatever. But I'm pretty sure Ron was on that list. But anyway, coming to the ring, then his music comes right back on. And he's got Ron Cena on there. Well, that shirt is hilarious. He's got him salute and everything. So he did everything, went out. It was basically a almost 75% squash match is what it was. R-Truth got to get the little John Cena moveset in.
Right.
You know, 5-knuckle shuffle, all that. John
With
Cena
the
goes,
false finish. Yeah.
right. John
Yeah.
Cena goes out to get the belt, comes back in. Everybody thought he had, even Ron thought, oh God, he's having a come to Jesus moment.
Right.
You know, gave the belt, then kicked him in the nuts and AA, and it was over with. And then hit him with the belt and left him laying there.
Don't worry, yeah.
You know, so there was no come to Jesus meeting. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I mean, I thought it really, first of all, it helps Ron because he gets to have a match. He was on Saturday night's main event, got the work. Helps Cena because it makes him look dominant and it makes him look like he really does not care about anybody but ruining wrestling.
Right.
And the story's getting better each match. So you get away from that match, and then you have a backstage promo with Jey Uso and John Cena. And John goes into, I'm ready to ruin wrestling. What if a YouTuber wins the title? That might ruin wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was genius. I thought it was the way he was talking. There's nothing, you know, it's just all business with him. And it's not even, but it's not like the aggressive 80s heel that yells at everything they talk about, or Hogan that would yell all the time every time they do something. It's real calm, it's real smooth, but it's all business. It's not, it made a smile. He hadn't smiled since, you know, Travis Scott came down. You know what I'm saying? This, you know, it's a lot of emotion being shown, but it's not good emotion, if that makes any sense. You know, so I thought that was good. Then we had Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Well, I went blank for a minute. Cage match. Before we talk about the match, I do want to say that there's some feuds that go too long. And you get tired of seeing it. It's not one time that I've been tired of seeing them go at it. It's really not. And the way that the match ended set it up to either kill it or keep it going.
I agree, bro. Now, they brought Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura he was up on this one,
Mhm.
and I don't know. He said something that was kind of not true. He was talking about how Saturday Night Main Event in the past, of course, he grew 80s, he's OG, and he said that they never had cage matches, and it's like,
Oh, that's not true.
yeah, like I mean,
Yeah.
but they had a different cage back then because
Right.
WWE had the blue cage. But
Yeah.
I remember Hogan and Paul Orndorff is one of the most memorable cage matches in WWF history. That was on
Right.
Saturday Night Main
Saturday
Event.
Night's Main
So
Event. Yeah.
yeah, when he said, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
Now, as far as those kind of cages, though, the
Yeah.
traditional cage that they finally went to years later,
Years and years later, because they had the
yeah,
blue cage for a long time, though.
long time. Yeah, they even made it black,
Right.
back in the late '90s. So so he said that. I was kind of like, huh, and then he was like, he was also talking about how, he know the rules is, they can win multiple ways. They can, of course, obviously, they can do pinfall, submission,
Submission.
but
No
they also can,
disqualification, but you can either leave, you can go over the top.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so it was like when we got to finish, it was like he was pissed that Priest went through the door. He was
But why
like,
wouldn't you?
I don't
If
know. I
that's the
just got,
easiest way to win the match, if I've got him down, which he did,
yeah,
he was done for after the chair shots and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he
You
could
know,
have pinned him right there.
he
You
could
know
have
what I
been
mean?
it,
Yeah,
and
but
just left him laying there.
yeah,
The
I just feel like Jesse was kind of out of touch. I love Jesse and he's funny, man. But I don't know. That was the first time out of the three Saturday Night Main Events that, because he participated in all three of them. That was, he kind of felt, to me, just felt out of touch. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Talking about this cage match. I don't know. Maybe that was just me, but but the action, as far as the match itself, though, like you said, they did disappoint. I felt like it was the match of the night. Uh,
the superplex off the top
oh,
rope
yeah,
when he
man.
was hanging over the body hanging over the cage
Right,
was absolutely amazing
right,
because there's no leverage for Priest to get up there
right.
to get on it. Like that was it was a little bit of Priest, but that was all McIntyre getting him up.
And they hit hard too.
Yeah,
Like
man. It's
it,
two big
yeah,
guys, man. They're two
yeah,
big guys,
right.
you know. And like I say, McIntyre is the one that brought the chair in.
Before yeah, because they started outside of the cage,
Yeah,
the attack, and yeah, he brought the chair
yeah.
there.
But and of course, Damian Priest got it when he put it on. And that's one of my favorite things to do, what they do with the chairs. If you try to slam them with it on their throat, make it look like they. But bottom line is the way they ended the match, you can kill it, and McIntyre moves on to somebody else, and he loses the feud, or yeah, I was going to use it, but you couldn't beat me without it, and all this and that, and you still can't do this. They left it open to either close it or keep going.
Right.
So I don't know what they're going to do. We'll definitely find out.
But
But
like, and even you talking about winning or losing the feud, um, yeah, technically, because like you said, they could go either direction. But
yeah,
even let's just say that was the last match that they had for a while or whatever, like feud's over. Yeah, since Damien won, especially winning that way, yeah, he kind of won the feud. But like, I mean, McIntyre won the high profile match at WrestleMania.
absolutely. But
You know,
also, it's the one I say the few because it's the last one,
well,
and
that's why I just
and
said
it's
it.
in the cage. But
Right,
also, they both been doing great. The work has been great. They're just getting better, and the feud
right,
has made them better, both of them.
right.
And I wasn't a Priest fan at all when he first came up. I don't like his look. I when I found out how much respect he had for Scott Hall, and the stuff he learned from him that it kind of opened me up a little bit, but I mean, after even when he won the title, like he's doing better work now than he did when he won the title.
I agree.
So
Well,
I'm not gonna say
now,
he's my guy,
I mean, I
but
liked him in NXT though.
yeah,
So now when he got to the main roster, they kind of like, because you know how Vince will do that. He'll change you up a little bit. Coming from NXT,
yeah.
and it's kind of okay.
But he
And
still got to put his spin on it, or felt
right,
like he needed to.
right. So I was kind of lukewarm to him. I thought he had potential, but and then of course we know through history, got with Edge, did the Judgment Day thing, and then pretty much became the leader, even though they didn't have a leader. I
Yeah,
guess Rhea kind of like was him and Rhea kind of like 1A, 1B. And then it was like I felt like he was in feud with them too long. But of course they made him a face. But I
right.
felt like his work was he was getting better on the mic and stuff when he was
Yeah,
doing the Judgment Day because he had to talk more as a leader.
yeah,
And I think that really helped his development.
yeah.
As far as his
And
in-ring stuff, of course, just like anything else, the more you do it, I guess the better you're gonna get anyway.
right,
Uh,
repetition is the key. Yeah, repetition.
you working with Steph Rollins and
Right.
and Drew McIntyre and I mean, hey, so even working with Finn, when they was beefing with the judge, when he was beefing with Judgment Day, Finn is a hell of a worker. Like just to be
Right.
truthful,
Yeah.
you
Great,
know,
great worker.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So he definitely earned his stripes, man. And I'm he and I'm kind of curious to see, to your point, where they're gonna go with this because they can probably stretch out one more match, maybe, but I'll be cool if they just be like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
they don't, kind of move on,
Yeah.
especially like you
And
said, the cage match.
right. But also, they mentioned it last night when he did when he laid his head on top of the chair and then came with the chair shot to the head, which you don't see chair
Whew,
shots to the head, especially on WWE.
whew.
But and you can work that one, but man, it looked like he gave it everything he got, and they mentioned it last night. That's the same thing he did to Edge when they put him out. But that's also what Edge and Christian used to do back in the day.
Jericho.
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah,
and again, like we'll see where it goes. Like I said, McIntyre might be taking a month or two,
possible.
and then want to come back and have one more, or come back and do something different. We'll see. But I'm with you. If they want to call it quits, I'm cool with that. But if they squeeze one more, I will be intrigued. They'll have to do something different, something amazing, something to catch
Yeah,
your eye.
because they already had a street fight,
They were
and
already at Mania.
you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna have a last man standing match. I already see it now.
There it is. And that's why he's the statistician / professor, folks.
That's what they're gonna do. Watch.
Yeah. So, that sounds about right. So we'll see.
We'll
We
see.
shall see. And we'll give you flowers if you're right on here, like we always do. Um, Wrapping it up, last match, main event. Main event, Jey Uso against Logan Paul. Love the fact, and they mentioned it yesterday, 15 years to the day
Yeah.
debuted with Tamina on Raw, jumping the Hart Foundation, Tyson Kidd, Natalia, and Davey Boy's son.
Harry.
Yeah. And what did they call him when he was here though?
Um,
That's what I was trying to think. I can't remember.
don't give me the line.
But anyway, 15 years to the day, and he's a world champion. You know, all they focused on was tag team wrestling. And then 15, that's got to be a lot to take in, man.
Right.
You know, so I thought that was so cool how that worked out. You know, and you got Logan Paul. Logan Paul does not disappoint. Love him, hate him. This guy's bought in. I think his selling is even getting better.
Yeah. I agree.
You know, and you know that's what makes you the man. You know, you can have a great offense, but if you can sell and really take pride in it, that's a big attribute to have as far as being a professional wrestler.
Right.
You know,
And
because
that's for both heel and faces as well. It ain't just the face. You
right.
know, like Brock Lesnar, good seller, you know, using him as an example. You would think he's the beast, you know, Suplex City, but when you get him down and injured, he act like he's like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I think that's so important.
Right.
You know, one thing I can't stand is a bad seller and bad punches.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean look, when you do a run in and jump on somebody and you're trying to hold yourself up while they're moving around and you're not gonna land. You even if you was fighting, you ain't gonna land every one of them anyway.
Right.
You know, but when you're head to head and you're throwing straight punches, like you can't have weak punches, dog. That's one thing about Hogan. Hogan has a mean punch, and I'll give him that. Bret Hart, you know, Scott Hall, them guys had some mean, and I mean, we ain't gonna get to all the Vader and all that stuff because that he was just clubbing folks down. I'm talking about a working punch. Usos, Roman Reigns,
Ron Simmons.
yeah, great punchers, make it look real. You got
Rick Steiner.
yeah, oh shit, because he used to come across the top, over the top, you know. But when you talk about Rick Steiner, you can talk about he had, you know, that power slam is the best power slam in wrestling to me. I love the power slam that Rick Steiner would do. You know, how he would almost have him up here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, his punches were great too. But yeah, Logan Paul is just getting better at all aspects of the business. All of them. And it ain't gonna be long, man, but somebody gonna slip up and he gonna get the title somewhere. Something's gonna happen. If he stays in it, and it ain't gonna, but it won't be like David Arquette getting it though.
Oh hell no!
No, it won't be nothing like that.
You
People are
should
gonna be
mention him
mad.
again. Only time you should mention him is that movie Ready to Rumble.
Yeah. Now I got a different opinion about that. We'll talk about that another time. But I have a way different opinion about Arquette.
I don't
Now,
have a problem with David Arquette.
yeah, but
I'm
I
just
understand what
saying,
you're saying.
you talk about him winning that title, which, like you said, we'll talk about that another time. You know.
Yeah.
I'm a David Arquette guy. I'm a Scream fan.
Yeah.
Dewey.
Absolutely.
He's Dewey.
Yeah.
You know, so. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I understand people are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
You know, especially them old school guys.
True.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about old school fans.
Right.
You know, the ones that don't really watch now. They're going to be the main ones. Oh, you're ruining wrestling. This is just like so and so. But dude is proven every time he gets, and that's how you know they're not watching the product. You know,
well, I find out real quick when I talk to people anyway, because they always say, you know, I watched it back in the day, you know, which I understand that, you know, a lot of us did. And then for whatever reason, they grew out of it. I understand that. But then when I hear them say stuff like it ain't good, and I'm just like, well, that's your opinion, but you don't even watch it. You wouldn't even know if it's good or not.
Right. How would you
It,
know?
and then if you do watch it today and you ain't watched it in 10 years, you're not gonna know who's out there. And you're
Yeah.
not gonna like it because it evolved and you'll
While you
see
were
some.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you'll be like, well, who's that? Well, that
Right.
ain't Stone Cold. Well, I don't like
Yeah.
it. Like them
Where's
dudes.
the APA? Where's the Undertaker?
Yeah,
This
like,
shit.
well, Shawn Michaels ain't out, Triple H. So it's like, no, them guys are retired, but
Right.
guys like Seth Rollins and them was probably new when you stop watching it. Now they're the veterans, and Randy Orton's still around, Cena, but that's rare because they're in their 40s. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just try to take it for what it is, and I know people got their opinions and stuff, but every time I hear somebody be like, "Whoa, it ain't the same," and yeah, of course it's not the same, but
Right. Nothing
if you ain't
is.
if you ain't watched it in 10, 15 years, and if you try to turn it on today and be like, "Well, I didn't like it," well, why not? Like you don't like it because you don't know what's going on. You don't know these people, you know what I mean? But you gotta like watch
It,
the product a few
it'd
times
be
to
like
kind of.
it'd be like you quit coaching football 20 years ago and you just came back and you haven't watched it since. You know what I'm saying? And then you coming out doing tackling drills. It was like, whoa, what are you doing? You
Yeah.
can't tackle like that anymore.
Or you go out there and try to run a damn wing tee or some shit. You know what I mean? And they be like,
You
well,
know,
and there's still teams that do it in high school football and stuff. So hey,
right.
if I said
Yeah.
something offended somebody, high school football coach still do that. Do you? But what
Right.
I'm saying is to the point, like it evolved. Everybody throw the
Yeah.
damn ball now. You know what I mean? So like if you
Yeah,
come out
man.
there busting out a wishbone, they're gonna
Yeah.
be like,
You know how many people would it be? You know how many old fat dudes that would be so excited to see the fullback come back?
right. Perfect example though. To your point, right? Thank you. Fullback. I remember it was prideful to be a fullback. Yeah, you're not the guy getting the ball all damn time, but you might get a few carries. But even you just going out there on the 28 sweep and you making that lead block,
Yeah.
it's prideful. Now it's like fullback don't NFL. The NFL they might be 5 or 6 teams to actually carry a fullback on a roster. And
Right.
now, really, the tight ends, and if they do have a formation as a fullback, is normally one of the tight ends,
Right.
the backup tight end that's going to
Yeah.
be the fullback, that
And you
play.
know it's a short game, goal line situation,
Right,
something like that.
right.
But you definitely don't have a Mike Allstott out there.
Hell no.
And but even when he got the rock, he was a problem. He was a problem blocking and running that thing.
Yeah, yeah, because he got a lot of carries too,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he ran the ball more than the average fullback. He was
right.
like John Riggins or Bennett or somebody, like the big back that,
He was like
you know.
Tim Riggins.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hey,
Take your
man.
girl, run you over and take your girlfriend,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Out there half drunk. Hey man, shout out to Timmy Riggins, man. Greatest fullback to come out of the state of Texas, man. Number 33, man.
uh, Friday Night Lights.
Hey, man. Shout out to Tim
the
Riggins.
the TV series, not the
Can you
movie, the
imagine
TV
him,
series.
bro? Could you imagine him blocking for Booby Miles? Man, Booby might have about 3,000 yards, but Booby is way better than Smash.
Hey, they both talk the same shit though.
Oh, yeah. You
Smash,
want to
they
win?
both a third person, wasn't they?
Hey, let Booby spin.
Let
Oh, you
Booby
want to
spin.
win? Let Booby spin.
Me with jacked up.
Man,
You go. He said you work for Midland.
where you from, Midland? You from Midland, right?
Oh man, we gotta get back on track.
Uh, I, I don't, bro. Listen, ever since I've had kids, like movies are different.
Yeah.
And this ever since 2010, dog. Before, I would never cry at movies. Never.
Okay.
Man, when Billingsley dad go walk down there at the end
Oh
and
man.
grab
And
him and put that
gave him
ring
his
on,
ring and put a ring on his finger.
it's a wrap. Turn the fucking movie off.
Especially because you got to think the relationship they had too. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it was
Yeah.
finally like his dad finally gave him that confirmation. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that I'm proud of you moment. You know what I
Man, he just
mean?
looked him in his eyes and then hugged him and then put that ring on him.
Yeah. Shout
You
out
know,
Tim McGraw.
man, that he played that role so good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He liked the
That's
football
one,
movies.
that's one of the best football movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Friday Night Lights, the series. And we're not talking about sports series. We're talking about one of the best series of all time.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I loved
It
it.
was
It's one of my favorites.
uh
So
one more since we on the subject, and
yeah,
I'm done with this one after this one. But you talk about getting emotional. You that was a great moment with Billingsley, whatever. But
yeah,
Rudy gets me every time, dog.
yeah.
when
When
when they come in there and drop them jerseys in that coach's office, and then when that dude, the defensive back came in there and he was like, "I want Rudy to dress my place, coach," and he was like, "You're a captain of this team. Why don't you act like one?" He was like,
I
"I
am,
think I am, coach." They dropped their jersey, then everybody came in there, started dropping them jerseys. That's what started for me. And then
yeah,
the stuff that led into it, his dad and brother get there, and these the most
man.
beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen, and all
Come
that
on.
other stuff.
But when he runs out that tunnel and they see him,
Oh
it's
man,
like first of all, his brother feels stupid. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And finally believes it, but the dad can't believe it. You know,
yeah, man,
they grew up watching it, loving Notre Dame football. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That was their everything.
Yeah. Can we watch some of the Indiana Purdue game? There's only one team watching this house. You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, even like when he went back home, when he was going to the little junior college or whatever, and he
Yeah,
was like, I'm gonna be, trying out or whatever. They didn't take him seriously. Dad like, all right, yeah, well, you want to come in this weekend to get some hours? He's like, no, I just
football
told you I'm
tryouts
gonna.
on Monday. I got to get back.
Yeah, yeah. They just kind of looked at him like, yeah, I
Right.
heard you, but you want to get these.
And shit, if at that job, you might work that weekend, might not make it out alive. So
Hey, for real,
I'm
for
not
real,
working
for
there anyway.
real.
I'm going to college, so I don't have to work here.
Right. It was still like, well, you get some
Right.
extra hours.
Your life is
We
on the
need
line every day.
you.
Yeah, you had
Yeah,
to
man.
kiss the wife. It's like being a police officer. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
man.
no,
For real.
just hey, love you guys. You know what I'm
All right.
saying? Might not never see you again when you leave the house in the morning. But
Real
anyway,
stuff.
but yeah, Rudy, bro, when he gets in for the kickoff team or whatever, and then he was like, Stan, what do I do? Man, when he
What he told him.
Stan, that joker makes that sack. And the crazy thing about that movie, when the dad is turning around talking to the dude doing like this, like,
That was
did
the
you
real
see him?
Rudy.
That was the real Rudy.
Yeah, the real Rudy.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah,
Now,
man, when they're doing the Rudy thing and they tell him, yeah, it's emotional when he finally gets in.
or even Vince Vaughn character when he was running back. You remember he gave him hell the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he was
Suck
like,
ass.
what he tell him? He said, that was for you. Because
Right.
remember he changed the play, he did the
Yeah.
halfback pass and all
All
that,
the
man.
offense out here, Rudy can't play. The
Right.
hell with Divine Billy.
Right. That's exactly what he said too.
I
He was
said, to
like,
hell with Divine Billy.
he's like, all right, this one's yours.
Yeah. And left threw a halfback pass.
Yeah.
It was on the money too. Yeah,
Like,
man.
these folks probably like, what the hell are y'all talking about? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Hey,
Welcome to wrestling.
all right, man. Jey Uso, Logan Paul. Let's just get there because the match is the match. They did
Right.
some stuff. The
Right.
ending and the setup is what great made it great. So,
Right.
you had the Logan Paul, who is the modern day Lex Luger, as far as he's got the steel plate in his forearm.
Right.
He's got the titanium plate in his hand, all
Right.
that stuff, So, when you heard the crowd and you knew somebody was coming in,
Right.
and the great camera work that they do, they left it on the ring. So when you see the person finally jump in, you're like, oh shit.
Right.
Because the referee was, outside. Or no,
Right.
he pulled the referee out, didn't he?
Right. Yeah, sure did.
Pulled the
Yeah.
referee out, came in,
Right.
started wailing on him, and it's Cena.
Right.
First, I do want to say this before I forget. I've been having a real problem with John Cena's socks and shoes lately. This by far was the worst pair of shoes and socks that he's worn out there. Maybe he's doing it on purpose, but there's no reason that a pale white man, such as myself, who can't tan, and my legs are as white as white socks, should wear flesh colored socks and white shoes. It's absolutely ridiculous, dog. It's ridiculous.
Them jorts on.
Man, I don't get it. I do not get it. Bro, the jorts, okay, that's fine. But bro, this man had flesh colored socks on yesterday. Or not last night. Yesterday and last night are pretty much the same thing. But I mean, what the hell, dog? What are you doing? Somebody had to say something back there.
He can't. No, you can't
You
see him,
can't see.
dog.
We saw it. It looks terrible.
Apparently, he can't see.
So, but came in there, started wailing on him, trying to cost him the match, and that music hit. And you put all the rumors and everything to bed. Cody Rhodes is back. Came in, saved Jay, hit the crossroads on Cena. Logan Paul was about to hit him, duck, got the spear, another splash. Jey Uso got the win. So, Jey Uso's going to be champ for 2 more weeks because they're not going to put the title on the line. They set up the match for Money in the Bank.
Right.
Well, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, and Cena and Logan Paul, which I think would be a good match.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. You get Cody Rhodes back. So, there's no, I told you, you hear the stupidest stuff. Back in the day, you could check 1 or 2 sites and they pretty much said the same thing. And you knew what was going on. But these folks now, bro, everybody's hurt, everybody quits. It's been all, and it's not just,
I never believed that though.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't believe it either, but it's just the fact that there's so much of that crap out there.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure out, when you are looking for, behind the scenes, but they give you all the information you need now anyway, unless it's real personal stuff. But hell, they were, they get to fighting backstage. Everybody got a phone. Everybody got cameras. That stuff coming out anyway.
Right.
Just you see, with only thing we haven't seen is CM Punk and the Young Bucks. And I would have loved to see that footage. You got to see it with Jack Perry, but CM Punk, Ace, whatever his name is, and you had Omega and the Young Bucks. I'd love seeing that, dog.
Yeah.
It might have been on World Star.
Huh.
Yeah, but
World Star, damn.
Yeah. So you had a good match. Like I said, it was back and forth like it always is.
Right.
Hit a couple of spots, couple of near falls, and then we get the interference and get the setup for 2 weeks at Money in the Bank. So it's going to be a whole, Jey Uso getting a little longer title run than I kind of figured.
I didn't think he'd lose the title that fast.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about like he's going to have it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe around SummerSlam. That's my whole thought the whole time.
Yeah,
personally,
but he ain't sizzling out at all.
Yeah,
but I do want to talk about a couple of things that I saw as far as the crowd and been seeing it before we wrap the show up.
Okay.
You can't wrestle. Yes, he can. The crowd is no longer. The crowd is split down the middle now. The
Right.
fans split down the middle with Cena. At first, it was, all, oh crap. He's a heel. Everybody hates it. They split down the middle now.
Well, I have a different viewpoint. I always felt it down the middle because even like used to like, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Let's go Cena.
Yeah.
Cena sucks. But
I'm talking about since the heel turn.
That's what I'm saying. Like when he was a face, it was let's go Cena. Cena sucks. But here's my thing though. You're right, but I think the trajectory changed. Meaning, the ones who Cena sucks is the one who like Cena now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So the ones who let's go Cena probably wasn't pissed off,
Right. You can't wrestle.
Yeah.
But you've been cheering for him for the last 20 years.
Right. You broke your kid's heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buy it,
The crowd was CM Punk. CM Punk went crazy.
Right.
Bronson Reed did a splash. Did you hear the crowd? One more time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 2 or 3 of them. It was loud.
Right.
Damian Priest hit him with that chair one more time.
Yeah. They savage down there in Tampa.
Right. Yeah. But it's like you've been yelling for CM Punk when he came out, and then now he done got cheated, done lost, and he getting splashed by the big man, and you yelling one more time.
It's like we watching Spartacus or something, you know what I mean? The Roman Coliseum, they want to see blood, Hey.
Like Gladiator, should he live or should he die? You know what I'm saying? That was a great movie.
Are you not entertained?
Have you seen is the second one any good? Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's good.
I gotta check it out. Yeah. I gotta check that out. But all in all, man, I know we got off topic, and that's what you gotta love about this, because any conversation you ever have with anybody, you're gonna get off topic anyway if it's a long one. And that's what makes it so good. So, if you don't like that we get off topic, hey, sorry. Sorry.
Well, a lot of people be asking me, do y'all just talk about wrestling? No. I mean, yeah, but no.
Wrestling's the main focus.
Yeah, but we
liable to talk about anything.
Right.
Like we just talked about, we went from wrestling to sports movies and what brings your emotions out. What movie brings your emotions out?
Right.
I'm gonna tell you another one is Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, when he calls his daughter on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little rough. Yeah. That was rough.
Yeah. That one is yeah. I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Rocky 2. No, it's like go for it, Rock. Catch that chicken, Rock.
What are we waiting for?
Pulverizing. That man said it gives me, what do you call it, motivation? The motherfucker wasn't bright at all, man.
Hey, I ain't hear no bell.
Yo, Tommy, ain't hear no bell.
Yeah.
He was the worst trash talker of all time. You sitting in there with Carl Weathers and Mr. T. Hey boy.
Right.
They going
Right.
back and forth. And Rocky over there talking about, you don't have to look to find me. I'm here.
I mean, this thing, that movie though, man, had Thunder Lips, Hogan with Thunder Lips, everything, man. It was like,
in the flesh, baby.
hey, meatball.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Yeah.
That's
That
crazy. He got
movie is
fired over that movie.
Yeah, it was crazy because he got fired. But it kind of like obviously one of the best things that happened to him because really that movie really helped jump off Hulkamania, even though it wasn't Hulkamania at that time, but
right,
the popularity from that, which like you said, he got fired from Vince Sr.
Yeah.
Then that's how he ended up with Vern Guy in AWA. And that was really Hulkamania really kind of started there. You know, wasn't called Hulkamania, but that's when he became a face and he started doing the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. And but Vern didn't really see the vision though, not that vision. You know, he kind of was hating on him and stuff, you know, because that wasn't really a thing back then, merchandising and stuff. And Vince Jr. Bought the company from his dad and saw the vision, and the rest is history.
And he, man, bought up the territory. Man, that's crazy. Man, old Thunder Lips in the flesh, baby. Well, listen, it's been Welcome to Wrasslin. We've been all over the place, but it's been fun. I think it's been episode 22.
Dudes.
Yes. I tell you what, we got Money in the Bank coming up. We'll be doing our predictions from that coming up. We'll do the review for Money in the Bank, and then we'll get back on our topics and keep coming. And we do have our first segment of Money, Marietta Football Legends coming up soon. It is an interview, and it's going to be a great one too. I can't wait till we get to do that. And we got a couple things up our sleeve that we're working on, and definitely got some independent stuff coming up too. Independent interviews and things of that nature. So, man, just stay tuned, man. We coming, we working, we trying to figure it out, and we having a ball while we doing it. But bro, episode 22 in the bag. Michael Jordan's next. 23. 23 got to be a good one.
Right.
You should have saved the GOAT conversation for 23.
Right.
But yeah, man. Welcome to Wrasslin.
Welcome to Wrasslin.
Hey, and one more thing, man. Shout out again. Noah Atkins. Man, happy graduation. Congratulations, man. We proud of you. I know your pop is too, man. So, just want to say, man, congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations. Hey, and since you brought that up, I also want to shout out his mom and his their whole family, Nigel Green. She did a lot. And it's not easy being a parent with mother or father. And she's one of our biggest supporters. We're Welcome to Wrasslin.
Absolutely,
So I want to shout her out and thank you for the good weekend with the graduation, the party and stuff that y'all had at y'all house. Joyous occasion. Welcome to Wrasslin.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Had y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Yeah.